What's up, everybody? It's
What's up,
Saturday night.
everybody?
What's happening? What's happening?
Happy Saturday night to you all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I got to turn it up in here. Say something.
Testing.
Yeah.
1, 2.
I can hear you. So it's Saturday night, and so what that means is that it's time for have a conversation after dark. This is what we do.
This is what we
So
do.
the last 3 weeks, I was tempted to have Jamal and Tanisha come on here tonight just to hang out, man, because they brought the numbers with them the last couple weeks. But listen, we're gonna be on here. We I don't know that this is gonna be very long because I don't know that there's anybody that's gonna disagree. And if everybody agrees, I guess there won't be that much to say about this topic. However, I'm gonna share it. We're gonna share it anyway, just because I think it's it's an interesting topic. If this is your
Yes.
first time checking us out, this is Have a Conversation After Dark. It is simply an opportunity to foster conversation. We throw a topic out. We let everybody take a stab at it. Tell us what you think.
Mhm.
And the goal is to get you talking. So with that in mind, let's jump right in because we're not going to be too long. So I'm going to, instead of showing a video to describe this like we did for the last topic, I'm just going to tell the story. I'm going to do my best to tell the story because the video has some profanity in it.
Quite a bit.
And the last video only had like 2 words. This has way more than 2 words. So here's the story. And we're talking about whether it is okay to financially plan for in the event that your marriage goes south. Should you be planning for that? Number one, should you even be planning for the demise of your marriage? Like, should you have a contingency plan in case
Mm,
things don't work out? That's
mm,
number one,
mm,
right?
mm, mm.
Tell us how you feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that, but here's the story. What?
You don't know how you feel about that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that I should. I don't know that I should be game planning. Let me give you two sides of the coin. One, I don't know that we should be game planning in the event that things go bad with us, that we have a plan in place.
I agree.
Now, do I see where an argument could be made for that? Yes,
Okay,
I
let's
do.
talk about it.
I do see where an argument
Tell the story though
could be made for
first.
that. So this we're talking about finances in particular, and is it okay to stash money away that your mate doesn't know about?
Mm,
Okay, so those are the two questions on the table. One, should you be planning for the in the event that something goes wrong? Because we do that, right? We have fire drills in the event of a fire. We have other contingencies we put in place in the event that things happen. Should we be planning in the event that we don't work out? That's
mm,
number one. Number two, should you be putting money away that your spouse doesn't know about? Here's a story. The story is I was watching this podcast, and they were reading a letter from um they're reading a letter from can you hear me?
mhm.
Okay. They're reading a letter from a woman who's asking, is she wrong for this? Now, here's what she was asking, is she wrong for? Her husband, they got married, and her husband was like, listen, I want to take care of you. I want to take care of the home. You can stay home. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna hit the streets. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna take care of you. So that's what he does.
Well, when I want to take care of the home,
Mm-hmm.
meaning I want to be the one to bring the finances in,
Right.
not stay home and take care of the home.
Exactly. Right. So he was like, I'll be the breadwinner. I'll make sure all the money comes in. You can
Right.
stay
The
home
breadwinner.
and do what you do.
Yeah.
Right. So that's cool. That's what they do. Fast forward through the story now. They are having some financial difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Things are getting kind of tight. I think at one point was working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I think that's what it said. He was working 3 jobs. Things were getting kind of tight. So he goes to her and hold on. Let me back up. Stick a pin in what he goes to her and says. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. The first thing, here's the first red flag for me. She starts out by saying, when I got married, my mom said
Yeah, that's the red flag.
that I should put money aside as an escape plan. So, in the event that things go south, I should put money away as an escape plan. So that's where the story
Red
starts.
flag number one.
Right? So so she takes her mom's advice. Now, let's go back into the story. The husband is like, "Hey, listen, I'll be the sole breadwinner. I'll bring all the money in. You stay home. I'll take care of you. It's all good." Fast forward, they start getting into some financial issues. He's working multiple jobs to live up to what he said he would do for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting tough. So he goes to her and he says to her, listen, basically, would you mind taking a job? And or she's like, I think she offers to take a job or something like that.
Yeah, she said I could take it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
offers to take a job.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, because what I said was I would take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to figure out some ways to tighten things up.
Right.
So to figure out some ways to tighten things up, he goes now and looks at the books. And when they open the books, he discovers that these deposits, these withdrawals, and have been coming out of his money to the tune of, in the beginning, $700+ every pay period.
Yeah.
Then it was $500+ every pay period. And this has been happening for years. So now he's looking at her like, hey, wait a minute. Where's all this money? she says to him, I've been putting money away just in case something happens and I need to make an exit. Now, so much so she has been doing this for so long that in this separate account is $47,000 and they are struggling.
Mm,
And he's coming to her like, hey, listen, we're tight. We need to tighten some things up, not knowing that all this time.
yeah.
And I would dare say, they didn't say this, but I would dare say things are probably tight because she's been stashing this money away.
Mm,
Now, he gets upset, obviously. He actually leaves the house. He's like, you know what? I can't even deal with this. I can't deal with you. I'm going to go stay with my brother or some family member he stays with.
yeah.
She has the audacity to say, this is the reason why
Right. This
I
is
was
the
putting the
reason why
money
I was
away.
putting money away. No, it's not. That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense. So you were putting money away because you knew that y'all were going to fall on hard. You knew that your husband's job was going to do what it did and you were going to fall on hard times. You knew that?
And furthermore, she's saying that, okay, now that the relationship is crumbling because he broke down.
Mm-hmm.
They, in the story, it said he broke down, like tears and everything. Like, I can't believe that you've been doing this behind my back.
He's hurt.
And
And
I'm fighting. I'm out here working multiple jobs to
Mhm.
live up to what I promised you I would do for you.
Mm.
And you got this money here behind my back that could have helped us. So he gets mad and he leaves. And now that he leaves, she's like, well, see,
Right.
he left.
Here go the rainy day I was talking
So
about.
this is what I was I guess I did the right thing. So, is it okay to stash money that your spouse doesn't know about? Doc Parks is in the building.
What's up, Doc?
It's already doomed. Setting money up for some just in case stuff doesn't allow for conversations to happen. You get mad and think, I got this loot over here, so I'm out. No conversation is
Yeah,
had.
true. No conversation. Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. First of all, that's a crazy story to me.
I think to me, if we're about to get married or not even about to, like in weeks, but we're talking about um contingency plans.
Hmm.
Okay, babe, when we get married, if this happens, then what are we going to do in a situation like that? Like if we're engaged
Hmm.
and we both decide to put money away for a rainy day type situation,
Hmm.
that's different.
Hmm.
Don't
Okay.
you think? Because we both know about it. We've
We both
talked
know
about
about it.
it.
Okay.
And we're saying, man, let's just every pay period, let's just put some little emergency fund to the side just in case
Okay. So,
for whatever reason.
but you're talking about emergency fund, but you're not talking about, hey, let's put some money aside in case we don't work out.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with
Yes.
you on that
Yeah.
because she put this money aside
So that she could
because
leave with it.
because her mother told her that she needs to have an escape plan.
My issue is with the mother because I feel like when we were listening to the person read the video where the person was reading the letter, I feel like this wife would not have had that idea
Mhm.
had her mother not
Probably not.
planted the seed
Right. So
in her ear.
right.
So my problem is with the mother for planting the seed, for planting her fears
Hmm.
onto her daughter.
Yeah.
That's
And
my issue.
let me tell you one person, because there were multiple parts to this, right? And so one of the girls on the podcast actually placed blame on the husband because she said that he should have been more engaged in the books. Like it shouldn't have taken years for him to be like, "Oh, let's look at the books," which I don't think is fair because if I trust you, if you're my partner
Yeah.
and we're partnered in this, and I said that I was going to do my part, and I'm expecting you to do yours, then I don't necessarily need to be over your shoulders. Now, would I check the books periodically? Me, Oliver Marcel? Yeah, I probably would, because that's just the type
Excuse
of
me.
person
Yeah,
I am.
correct.
But
Me
you
too.
can't blame him for not doing that. That was just me. Let me see. We got a comment from Daniel. Very important topic. It's a great idea and financial security when discussed and acted together. But I don't think it's okay to do it behind your partner's back.
Right.
On a personal note, my stepmom built a house back home without telling my late dad. So I know the disappointment firsthand. Wow. Okay.
Wow, she built a house.
Yeah. And here's the thing. What's crazy is, as crazy as this story sounds, it is not far fetched or uncommon.
Right.
Just like Daniel says, stepmom built a house. People do this all the time. They have separate accounts, they have separate investments,
Hmm.
they have separate things that the other one doesn't know about. And it is often in the event that things don't
Things
work out.
don't work out. Why are you even why are you going into marriage with that mentality?
Okay. So that speaks to question number one, which is, should you plan, should you game plan, or should you have contingencies in the event that your marriage doesn't work out? And I'm playing devil's advocate here. We have fire drills, but we don't want the house to catch on fire. We we do certain things and have certain things for our car, like we have a jack in our car, but we don't want to catch a blowout. Like there's different things, and I know that's kind of frivolous and silly, but
Yeah, it's
I'm just
different.
I'm using that just to say, why can't we do that in marriage? Is basically what I'm saying.
I think you I think that it all has to do with I don't know, the secrecy of it all. I, I don't know. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with having some type of contingency plan in case this doesn't work out. Like, where's your confidence in the relationship?
Mm, interesting. Doc Park said what she did is I like to call constructive eviction.
Eviction.
In other words, it's like a landlord who doesn't fix anything and your apartment or home is in need of repair. So you move out. Then the landlord says, I didn't tell you to leave, but he did nothing to repair the situation. So you would stay. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me ask you this. You said you don't, where's the faith in the marriage? If you talked about in the beginning agreeing on certain things like the emergency fund,
Hmm.
if we agree on a contingency, is that acceptable? So if we say, hey, listen, we're gonna go into this marriage and we are gonna fight to make this marriage work. We're gonna do everything in our power to make it work.
But if it
In
doesn't,
the unfortunate and God forbidden event that it doesn't work, here's how we're gonna handle this. And we just put that on the shelf and that's it. And we go about the business of making our marriage work.
I still just even in that in the forbidden event that it doesn't, it's that thought is still in your mind, in my opinion.
Okay.
So to me, you still to me don't have all of the confidence in your relationship, I think.
Okay. So I'm curious. There's a couple people watching right
So
now, just out of curiosity, and I heard what Doc Parks just said about that. It is it. I can't use the word right or wrong because I don't even know if there's a right or wrong. But is it wise to have contingencies for everything that could potentially happen in your marriage, including its demise? What do you think about that? Those of you who are watching, or if you're watching the replay, throw your comments in there.
mm,
Um, because that's not. I read an article and I couldn't find. I didn't have a chance to look for it before I got on here. But I read an article that actually was written by a therapist that actually suggests that you do that. That you
really,
plan for all components of your marriage, including potential divorce.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. Do you agree with that?
So I wouldn't do it, but I understand why people would think that it's important to do. Because think about what we were talking about in marriage ministry and um and planning
Mm-hmm.
for the potential, yea, inevitable, unhealthy stages of your marriage. I'm not gonna say it's exactly the same
Yeah, I
thing,
don't feel like it
but
is.
it's kind of teetering towards that.
I don't feel like it is because in what you're saying, I
Hmm.
feel like it's both parties planning for for your marriage,
Hmm.
the unhealthiness of your marriage. But in this situation,
Hmm.
she's like, well, if it don't work out, I'm out. And I gotta have something so that I can be out. Do you
Okay,
know what I
I
mean?
know, I know what you mean, but what it sounds like you're saying is that as long as we agree that that's what we're planning for, and it's out in the open, then it's okay.
I don't think so still.
Okay. Daniel said, "Is it fair to say that in most cases, women are the ones to pull so-called financial security
Security
savings?"
savings.
Um,
Mm,
I don't have stats on that, but just
it's
knee-jerk reaction, I would say, yeah, probably.
yeah, it seems that way, but we haven't researched it, so.
Every story that I've heard that's similar to this, it has been the woman.
Mhm,
I say it, I'll say it that way.
mhm,
Every story that I've heard, and I've heard a few. This is not the first one I've heard.
mhm.
It has been a woman. Park said, although we get told to put something aside in case it doesn't work, we never should. As I mentioned earlier, you are already setting
Yourself
yourself
up
up
for
for failure.
failure.
Okay. It's like you're waiting for something
Some
to pop off and then you're out. Mm,
yes.
yeah.
That's my
Which I feel
sentiments
like is what
exactly.
she was doing.
Yeah.
Like she knew that when this came out, it was going to be a problem
Mm,
because this dude is breaking his back
right.
trying to support her and is frustrated that there's not enough money to go around, only to find out that his wife has been siphoning money to the tune of $47,000. And so I feel like she knew this was going to happen
Right.
at some point, and she knew how he was going to react. Like anybody's going to react that way. Anybody. I don't care who you are. If you find out your spouse has $47,000 stashed away somewhere and y'all are having some financial hardships, everybody's going to feel the same way.
Right.
Everybody's going to feel some kind of way like, what? We out you watching me out here struggle and you got 47 grand? Like
Yeah.
pay a bill.
That's
Like
tough.
like pay a bill for your boy. Like that's crazy. So
That's tough.
um now, what would you do if that was you? That's the question I have for you. What would you do if you find out, especially through financial hardship,
Mhm.
that your spouse has been siphoning money and she has close to 50 grand stashed away? What is the next thing you do when you find that out?
Mm.
What do you do if it's me? We got our grandson with us, hanging out
Yeah.
with us. So
Sorry. I have my
if
grandson.
if if it's me, Cobes.
Give me the blanket. Give me the blanket. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, if that was me, right, and I had been stashing this money away, and we're having some financial difficulty, and you find out that I have almost 50 grand stashed away, I want to know what your reaction would be.
I think that I would be very upset, obviously, angry.
Hmm.
Um I don't know how we would get over that because I would feel like if you can do that, what else
Mm,
can you do?
interesting.
Because that's pretty deceitful to me. Leave it.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Doc Parks said it's okay for one person to manage the finances. However, both folks should know and have access to the funds. I dealt with a situation where a wife moved 600,000 from their account to give to her struggling brother so he wouldn't lose his home. Left him 4,000 in the account. That's
Oh
crazy,
my
bro.
word.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And I agree with you.
600,000.
I agree with you. I agree with you that both should have access. Now, I kind of felt some kind of way when the other girl was like, this is partly his fault because he should have been,
Moni-
co-managing it. He should have
well,
been monitoring
not
it.
monitoring, because that sounds like
Well, it is. He should have been looking, right? But you and I know that there are a myriad of cases where the man basically brings the money and is like, "Here you go, babe.
Yep.
Do whatever.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
what you know needs to be done."
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying that's wise, but I can't fault him for having that level of trust
Mm-hmm.
in his wife.
Right.
Like if you can't trust your wife,
Mm-hmm.
you probably can't trust too many people. Like, I mean, that's, but I get it. And so I agree with what Doc's is saying. Like, it's okay for one person to manage the finances, but both people should
Have access to it.
right.
Yeah.
Should know and have access. I agree with that because he would have caught real early that this $700 is coming out every pay period.
But he did have access to it. He just wasn't checking it because he is the one, I think it said, that was looking at the account and noticed that these regular
Right.
withdrawals, money taken out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he had access because after he told his wife, "Hey, listen, no, I don't want you to go to work," because she offered, "Hey, let me go get a job."
Mm-hmm.
When he was like, "No, I don't want you to do that. Let's figure out what we can do."
Mm-hmm.
That's when he went and reviewed the book. So I guess he did
Right.
have access to it,
Yeah.
which means he trusted her,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one of the guys on the podcast was like, "That man, what was the term he used?
Nasty.
That
guy.
Did he say
was like
theft? He said something like
Oh.
marital theft, or he was like basically that's theft.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were kind of going back and forth. He was like, "No, that's not theft because that's their money.
Their money."
So she's not stealing their money.
But I see his point. I point.
I do. I see his point too. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you're being dishonest.
Yeah,
right?
It's dishonest.
Remember in Fences when Denzel bought home his check and gave it to Vi? Yep, I remember.
Yeah.
She had a little on the side. She did have a little on the side. You're right. Denzel told her to give the son money. I do remember that. And listen, obviously we're not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. I just want to know what people think about it because finances is a significant marital killer.
Yeah, it is. Often.
And this right here
Mm.
is like
So
the double barrel shotgun.
I didn't catch the whole video.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they talked about the outcome of their marriage. Did they?
They didn't. They never really said what happened. The husband left, said he was going to stay with a family member, but we don't know whether they came back together or not. But essentially what she was writing in to ask was she wrong
Yeah, I
for
understand.
doing it?
But I'm curious though, if they stay together,
Mm-hmm.
there would probably be a lot of how did it continue after that? Does she continue? Well, no, she probably wouldn't, because I'm speculating, because now I'm sure he checks the account more often.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking if they stay together that there would be some mistrust there now. And so
probably
she would have to somehow build that trust back up.
Let me ask
Work on building the trust back up for him. If they didn't stay together, I could understand why not. Because that's deceitful. And what else could you possibly do?
Here's what's crazy though. I'm staying together.
You're staying.
Yep,
I think I would too.
Let me tell you why I'm staying together. I ain't about to let you walk away with that 50 grand. No, sir. You're not getting off that easy. Because if I leave, you get the money.
So you're just thinking of
I'm thinking about the money. Exactly.
You're thinking about the money.
I'm thinking about the
You're
money.
not thinking about the relationship.
Like, man, because if I walk now, I'm out $50K.
Yeah.
and it's my money. Like I was working slaving, and all she was doing was transferring it to a different account.
Hard earned money at that. It's not like
Yeah,
he had
dude was
one job.
working
He had
multiple
3
jobs,
jobs.
and she's siphoning money. So I'm like, listen, we're gonna have to stay and be miserable because I'm not about to give you that money. Like we're not doing that.
My. What's up, Pierre?
What's good, Pierre? Pierre said, just from the topic, I think you just need to max out retirement accounts. The only reason for this in the past is someone not working. When my wife wasn't working, we did a spousal IRA for her. Yeah, so you're talking about the right way to go about this.
Correct.
But so let me give you the context. I don't know when you came on, but let me give you the context of this. So basically, this is in reference to a story about a husband and wife. The husband told the wife, "Hey, listen, I got you. You don't have to work. You can stay home. I'm gonna bring the money in, and I'm gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of." Right. Fast forward down the road, they run into some financial issues.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Hey, I'll go to work," and he's like, "No, don't. I said I would take care of this. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go check the books and see how we can do this." Checks the books, realizes that she's been siphoning money every pay period into another account.
$750.
$700 something dollars each time, and then $500 something dollars. She diminished it after he came to her and was like, "Hey, we're having some financial difficulties." She diminished it to 5 something. Now he checks the books to the tune of $47,000 and change that she stashed away while they having financial difficulties. So now what we're trying to figure out is, one, should you plan? Because the reason why she did this, her mother told her that she should have an escape fund.
Before they got married, her mother told her
that she should have an escape
fund.
And she took that advice and she started siphoning money without him knowing.
Right.
So she would have this escape fund. Then she has the audacity when he gets angry and leaves when he finds out to say, "See, told you I needed it," because he left.
Yeah.
So she's writing the guys on the podcast saying, am I the a-hole for that? And the dudes were like, absolutely. Like, this is an easy one, because you're stealing. Now, if let's say we do stay, but then I'm like, hey, well, now that you know, let's create a plan in case something happens. Would you do it? I wouldn't.
I was going to say, I don't think so.
So how...
my stance doesn't change.
Okay.
I don't feel like we need a plan because again, my stance doesn't change. I have no faith or confidence in the relationship if I feel like I have to make a plan in the event that the relationship doesn't work out.
Yep.
I don't. She committed financial infidelity
the entire time.
Financial
infidelity.
Time.
That's the term right there. Financial infidelity. That's what she was doing.
Can you imagine?
Because it was behind his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So red flag number one.
The entire time.
Red flag number one. Mom said.
I blame her.
Like we could just stop right there.
Yeah.
Mom said. And we're not saying that moms don't give great advice. They do. They give great advice. But this was horrible advice.
That again, because Pierre wasn't here before anyway when I said it. It's not advice. To me, I feel like she was projecting her fears.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Onto her daughter.
Probably.
Who would say something like that?
That's
a lot of people say it.
A lot of people.
But for me to say that to Jamaica or Stephanie, that's my fear being projected onto them.
So for you to say that to Jamaica and Stephanie means that your experience with me is such that you don't have confidence.
Right.
And because you don't have confidence and you could have fixed this by XYZ, you're going to ask them to be proactive.
Yeah.
Park said it'd be hard to trust anyone
Anyone
after
after the trust has been broken in
in a
a
relationship.
relationship. Yeah.
Hmm.
However, folks think that if they stay in the relationship, the person that broke the trust needs to
Earn it
earn
back.
it back. No, wrong. If you stay in a relationship after that trust has been broken, you
You will
will
earn the
earn
trust
the
back
trust back
because only
because
one
only one
person is
person.
working to build trust.
Okay.
Interesting. If you it is up to both people to work on building the trust back. It's like being in a canoe and one person is rowing and the other person is just sitting. Yeah, that's true because you'd be going in circles. That's a good point.
That's a good point, I guess. But if
That's a good
I
point.
did nothing wrong,
Hmm.
how am I working to build the trust back up? Am I saying that right? To build trust.
Hmm.
How?
Well, he's saying it's up to both people, which it really is. It is up to both
But
people
I did
because
nothing wrong.
yeah, but in order for us to create this partnership that obviously was not a was faulty, it would take both of us because it's not a partnership if it's not going to take both of us. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to uh that there's any restitution on your part, but there will be a part that you play in the building process.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with that
Okay.
because if you think about it, in any other situation, right? If it's infidelity, if it's whatever the case may be, and one person is hurt, and we talk about the process of seeking forgiveness and the process of granting forgiveness, that involves both people, right? The process of building trust and um consistency on my part and setting parameters on your part, like that's where that partnership would come in.
Okay.
That's kind of how that's how I'm seeing it,
Okay, I got you
you know,
then. I got you then.
in
I'm
terms of that.
thinking I was thinking more along the lines of you you were the one that committed the infidelity.
Hmm.
And so obviously you got to do something to fix it, earn
Hmm.
my trust back.
Right.
But I was thinking what you and Dr. Parks were saying is that I too need to do something to earn your trust back.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and
I don't agree with
so,
that.
but so here's the thing: as crazy as that sounds, I don't even think it's so much that you're doing it to earn my trust back as much as you're doing it to build trust.
Okay.
Right?
I'm part. Okay. Okay.
Park said exactly. Oh, too much text.
Okay.
um, Bob Rhoda, shout out to Bob for being here. Thanks for being here. You have to help your partner to be able to forgive themselves, so long as you forgave them for the mistake. Okay, you have to help your partner to forgive themselves.
I don't.
No,
I don't agree with that.
you don't agree with that. Tell me why. Let me get Pierre's comment and then tell me why you don't agree with that. Um, Pierre said, I understand that things happen, but spend more time getting to know who you are marrying and then handle the consequences of your decision. For me as a man, I want my wife to be okay if anything happens to me where I'm no longer able or no longer providing for
For
her.
her. Hmm.
I mentioned retirement accounts due to the rules for withdrawal and access.
Mm.
You can always withdraw from it in unforeseen hardship. And if that bad event doesn't happen, you're saving for your future. And the accounts are separate from the beginning. Mm. So,
Yeah, that's
so if we came back now, we would, that's good information to know. Because
correct.
then we could say, okay,
Yes.
listen, I understand what you were trying to do.
Let's
I don't,
go about it the
yeah,
right
I don't
way.
agree with it. I think it was shady. And let
Yeah.
me just first reassure you that I ain't going nowhere.
Mm,
However, since you had that fear, let's address that fear
mhm.
by doing XYZ.
Okay.
Now that takes some maturity because we would be angry first. So we
Yeah.
would have to get over that and get over the fact that we felt betrayed
Mm,
and all of those things. We would have to walk through that whole process of honesty and forgiveness, reconciliation and restoration before we could even get to that. Tell me why though. Bob said you have to help your partner to be able to forgive themselves.
I I don't know. Maybe I have too much resentment that I got to work on, but I've forgiven you. Yes,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um yeah, okay, I guess I see it. I guess it would be spiteful or mean or unkind of me not to help you to forgive yourself, but I'm the one that was hurt.
Hmm.
I'm the one that was wronged. It's bad enough that I got to forgive you because God said I got to forgive you. And now I got to help you forgive me. That's the first thought that came to my mind, but now that I'm thinking about it, I guess
I agree.
the godly thing to do
I
would be
agree.
to
But
help you forgive
I
yourself.
think what Bob said is correct. I agree. I agree with Bob. Shout out to Bob. I agree with him. Pierre said it got cut off separate from the beginning so that if things go bad, one spouse can suddenly drain the other's retirement account like they could with a joint emergency fund. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Bob said forgiveness is a process.
It
If
is.
the offending partner is honest and contrite in their apology, then you need to still show them the love
Yeah.
and patience in their healing and the healing of the marriage. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
Is it difficult? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I won't argue with that. We sit with couples often, and you can attest to this, that a significant part of the process in the beginning is just getting them to that space
Mm. Yeah.
where they will be honest enough and be willing to go through the process,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
It's tough,
It
but you're
makes
right,
sense.
Bob.
It makes sense. It does.
But he will never earn it back because he is the only one working. Denise,
Mm.
you are not earning trust on that issue, but may need to work on the other issues in the relationship where trust was broken or shaky.
Shaky.
You would be wise to help build trust if you stayed. If not, let one dime be missing, and now you go back to zero
Right.
with O having to work all over again by
By
himself.
himself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, listen, this can I just say
Always good.
the whole point of these Saturday night sessions,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to call them that, is to get folk talking. Do you
Yeah.
know how many? Well, I know Doc Park knows. Do you know how many people don't have these conversations?
Oh yeah.
And it's not until scenarios like the one we just shared,
Mm-hmm.
where somebody realizes that there was $47,000 stashed away over the last several years,
Mm-mm-mm.
then we're trying to figure out how to have conversations. But we're trying to figure out how to have those conversations now through the lens, through the filter of anger and the filter of betrayal and
Yes.
the filter of
Yeah.
disappointment. And it's tough to do that when we could have just in the beginning been like, hey, what's your take on this?
But who really thinks about that though?
That's the problem. We need to start teaching people to think about that.
Yeah, we do, but in this situation, I'm almost afraid for couples to have this conversation
Why?
because I feel like that will get people thinking like, now that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it should get people that way because, like Pierre, I think it was Pierre that said earlier, you need to spend some time getting to know
To
who you
know.
marrying,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you should be talking about this because if you and I are having this conversation pre-marriage,
Pre-marriage.
and you hear me say something, and you like, wait a minute, that don't that don't sound right,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a red flag for you. Now you have the opportunity to make some decisions, or like Pierre said, deal with the consequences of your decision.
Yeah. Are we gonna move forward with this
Yeah,
still or not?
you know.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
goes to what I was
yeah.
saying in the car. Like when you find something, like if you ignore the red flags before you get married, you know?
He said these are my date nights. I'm in a threesome. Pierre
Oh my
said
gosh.
marriage expectations and culture have changed, and we need to adapt and grow and learn. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I listen. I challenge all individuals who work with premarital couples and pre-engagement couples
Mm-hmm.
to start having them go through these things,
Yeah.
because if you go back and look at a lot of these episodes, a lot of these things that we bring up, a lot of these subjects that we bring up could be avoided if there was conversation about them
It's
prior.
true. It's true.
Because one of two things would happen. Well, one thing would definitely happen. You would learn something about the person. Then the second thing would happen is that now you could make an educated decision on, do I move forward and, like Pierre said, just eat the consequences
Hmm.
of my decision, or do I say, hey, you know what? Nah, I don't know about this,
Yeah.
or nah, I don't know about this. How about we try to see if we can come to an agreement first?
Hmm.
But it's always after the fact.
Right.
It's this situation where this dude has been slaving,
Mm.
and he has been he wants to take care of the house and wants to take care of the home and trying to figure out how to make it work, only to find out that his wife has been siphoning money.
Mm.
When in the beginning, she could have gone to him and been like, hey, listen, you know what? My mom told me that I should have, this escape plan money stashed away. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm gonna take care of you. Or maybe he would have been well versed like Pierre is and be
Pierre.
like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, okay, if you feel that way, I don't want
Let's go
to
about it this
negate your
way.
fear.
Yeah.
Let's address it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why conversation is important.
Yeah.
Bob said, being joined as one, as the Bible says, is a hard concept to grasp and live. You are your partner's weakness,
Ooh,
and they are your weakness.
that is good.
Hmm. I struggle with it at times, but my wife, she is watching. My wife, oh, maybe it cut off. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
good.
Bob,
I am your weakness and you are my weakness.
and
It's
here
true.
and here's the thing, Bob. What's interesting about that is, and we were talking about this in the marriage ministry meeting a couple weeks ago, is that this is where people kind of buck up against me when I say this, but you actually signed up for,
Mhm.
when you chose to be in covenant with this person, you actually signed up for everything that comes with that.
Mhm.
And a lot of that stuff is unforeseen, right? That's why you hear in the traditional vows, for better or for worse, for
Yep.
richer, for poor, in
Yep.
sickness and in health.
Yep.
We don't think about the negative aspects of those,
Yeah.
of that
We
part of the
always think
covenant,
of the
right?
better, the rich,
The
the health.
weaknesses,
Yeah.
right? The insecurities, the
So true.
the ignorance,
Yeah.
just, and I'm not saying ignorance like just being stupid, but I mean just stuff we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
The immaturity, all of that kind of stuff, right? So good stuff, Bob. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre said we need automatic training in churches for this. Dating or not, comprehensive real talk between age 20-25. Not these once in a while discussions that are the same, but really deep, comprehensive training and education to
Yeah.
help people understand and grow. We
Agree.
need financial and relationship literacy and education.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. I agree. Remember, relationships, man,
Crumble.
relationships crumble due to two factors: expectations and assumptions.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with setting expectations. However, when you don't, you expect things to happen or assume they will for whatever reason.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So listen, if you haven't had the money, if you're married and you haven't had the financial conversations, you probably need to have them. I pray that you don't run across anything like this story we told tonight,
Hmm.
or anything even close to it. Have those conversations, and have them with, typically we don't, it's not an advice show, but have them under the perspective of what what are we going to put in place to ensure that the team wins.
Yeah.
Because can I say this, just, and this might be controversial, I don't agree with her mom telling her that she should have an escape plan.
However,
However, I don't I I won't negate the fear
Yes,
of, man,
absolutely.
what if this doesn't work? My thing is, bring that to me.
Yeah, I
Be honest with me about that.
yeah, I would never negate anyone's fear.
Right.
People's fears are valid,
Right.
but the way you go about handling it
Right.
is the problem.
Right. Just be honest with me. Be like, hey, listen, man, I really I'm afraid.
Hmm.
And it's not, I don't know. Maybe it's because how things happen with my mom, or
Hmm.
how things, whatever the case may be, and then it's about them working together to create and provide some assurances,
Yeah. Yep.
um, and craft some strategy that will allow them to be able to execute some level of consistency in their relationship that can
Hmm.
address that fear.
Hmm.
So that's that. Have that conversation. We just wanted to share that story because I thought that was crazy. That the brother
That's
woke
wild.
up one day
Poor guy.
and was trying to was banging his
Trying to
head
keep it
against the
together.
wall,
Trying to
trying to
keep it
figure out
together.
how they gonna make ends meet, only to find out that this chick got $47,000 that she took from him
Mm.
over the course of several years, which is crazy. So hopefully that doesn't happen to any of you. And listen, it's an
There,
opportunity for you to have a
there was
conversation.
another comment, wasn't
Oh,
there?
there is.
I think so.
Yes, there's a couple comments. Park said, "Mom is old school and speaking from her own experiences." Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when a woman tells her daughter, "Girl, get your education so you don't have to rely on a
Ryan the
man."
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Ideally, men are the primary providers of most homes, but in this age, some women make more than men. If they can stack away money when they aren't making as much as men, what will happen once they start making more than their men? Mm.
Ideally, men are the
Primary
primary
providers
providers of most homes.
in terms of how much money is made, is what I'm assuming based on what he said next.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Based on who makes the most. I don't know that there are a whole lot of stay-at-home wives. Maybe there are. I have to look at the stats on that.
There are more
There are more
nowadays.
now, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially coming out of the pandemic. But what he's saying in terms of like who makes the most money.
Okay.
So what he's saying, if women are stashing now, what happens when they really are making considerably more? You know, and and that speaks to Daniel. There's and we had this conversation. I think probably last year was a Saturday night conversation about um how money is handled in the home, right? So you have a lot of different ideologies around how money should be handled in a marriage. Like all our money goes into a pot,
Mhm.
or does she have her own account and I have my own account, and then we
Mhm.
have an account for the bills and the expenses, or what does it do? And there's several different ways that people go about that. For that very reason,
Yeah.
some people are like, hey, I'm making a ton of money, I should be able to have this amount of money to play with. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're not financial advisors. But what we are saying to you is that if you don't talk about it, you're going to
Mhm.
end up in the situation like this one.
Mhm.
That's what we are saying.
Yeah.
That's what we are saying. Pierre said, laugh out loud. Good question, Daniel. Should a stay at home father, they exist, also stash away money?
Yeah. Stay-at-home fathers definitely do exist.
Listen, stash whatever you want to stash. All I'm saying is talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't do what this, don't follow this, the example of this story.
Mm.
Don't stash and then y'all in trouble only for the spouse to find out that you've been stashing. Like, don't do that. What's good, bro? We got two mics in the house.
Hey.
Man, thank you for being here, man. Check out this guy has a phenomenal podcast. Make sure you check out the podcast. Two mics up. Good stuff. Good stuff. Phenomenal guests all the time, doing great things, man. Thanks for being here. Listen, we're gonna get out of here. We just wanted to throw that topic up in the air and see what people thought about it. You already know what this is about. It's about conversation, man.
Mhm.
Conversation is a catalyst for learning. Conversation is a catalyst for growth. Conversation is a catalyst for bonding. So you should be talking to each other.
Mhm.
Pierre said, "Yep, no matter what, if you're married, they should know about it, or you are financially cheating." Yeah, good stuff.
What's today?
Today is Saturday, March the 16th.
Okay.
So let me just say this to those of you who are watching. Um, we are actually, and I mentioned this a long time ago, but we're actually going to pull the trigger on this. We are going to be doing this live. We're going to be taking have a conversation after dark live. So we are planning on being in several cities.
So excited.
Um, we don't have all the details yet, but just stay with us. We're going to start here. We're in the Baltimore metropolitan area, so we're going to start here. I had a conversation with somebody in Philly. We're going to do one in Philly. Looking at New York and Atlanta and a
If you
couple
want us to
couple
come
different
to your
places.
city,
So
reach out to us. Make it happen. We
be
can be
yeah,
there.
be on the
Most
lookout
likely.
for that. We want to do this in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun to do
Yeah.
this in front of a live audience. So be on the lookout. Information about that is coming soon, and we'll probably be reaching out to some folk like Doc Parts in the Atlanta area to see how we can make this happen. So we have some cities. We don't have all the details yet, but we'll get them as they come out.
Mhm.
Great information and needed conversation. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So be on the lookout for that. Also, be on the lookout for in Q2. There are a few things that are coming back in Q2. One of those is Inside the Relationship. It is a YouTube show. We'll be doing season 2 of Inside the Relationship. If you've missed or don't even know what we're talking about, go to our YouTube channel. Check out season 1. Great, great episodes there. And we're also coming back in Q2 with Relationship Trade Secrets, which is an audio podcast. So we'll be having some episodes coming out of that as well. All right. So
Yeah.
listen, man, have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night. Remember, have these conversations. Don't you get caught out there with your mate stashing $47,000 that you don't know about,
Mercy.
or any other thing that you should be having a conversation about.
Yeah, that you don't know about.
How about
Anything.
that? How about that? So, listen, man, we love y'all. Thank you for being the best part of this. Those of you who are in the comments, you make this what it is. We appreciate you big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
All right. So have a good night. Have a great week. And we will see you. Actually, we might not see you next week. I'm not sure yet. Stay tuned.
No?
I'm not sure. Next week is the 23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. Blessings on you, everybody. If you came in and you missed this, you got to go back and hear the story that sparked this conversation about this woman who stashed this money away without her husband knowing, and how he found out and that kind of thing. Have a conversation, folks. I promise you, it's worth it. All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. Blessings on you. We'll see y'all next week.